Alright, we're in. Hello everyone, and welcome to the road to 2k22. Now before I go on a tangent, I would just like to address Battlegrounds. It came out, it happened, and now it's kind of done for. Just because there's not really a whole lot of content within the game. It was a good try, to say the least. But it just felt like it was rushed out to meet a one game per year quota. And even with more things coming out as of recent, some of which aren't even like all unlocked from the start, people just don't want to keep playing it because there's no fun in it. So that leads us to what will be the next game in the series. And what's different this year around is that we actually have statistics that were put out by the developers at 2K for what people want the most. And I have the top 10 things listed here. And I feel like the best way to start out the series is to dissect them one by one. So to start, the number 10 most requested thing has been more Legends. And right off the bat, I'm going to say that that's something we absolutely do not need. Because the roster is too bloated at the moment. And, you know, we're already at like 200 something. And it seems like everyone has like an alternate version of themselves, and it's just not necessary. And what hurts it the most is the fact that there is nothing in place to really restrict them. And they just put in whoever they feel like at the start. And I have nothing against putting in people that have been gone from the series for a long time, or even never been in the games. But most of the time, it's just adding back people that have already been in previous games, you know, fairly recently. And so what we need to do is we really need to take a step back, because if you're going to base your game around nostalgia, you really cannot half-ass it. You need to decide what exactly you're going for, and then make that the game's identity. And 13 did that perfectly, and I'd say all the way up to 16, you know, everything was just fine. Reason being, this is not going to turn into a showcase video. That might be another video down the line. But they go hand in hand, really. Everything should have to do with one another inside the game. And that's no different here. The showcases should dictate, you know, who's in the game. Because even if you're so caught up in, you know, wanting new people into it, or having, you know, returning characters from years past. As long as you, like, choose and pick wisely, then that's gonna happen naturally. Because just look at 16, which was the last showcase before they changed it. You know, you had Savio Vega in there, you had Mikey Whipwreck, and it's like nobody would have thought that in 2015 Savio Vega and Mikey Whipwreck would be in a WWE game. And yet there they were, because it made sense. There was a context to it. And we need that context back. We need reasoning for why each superstar is in the game. And that's something that you can't do when your showcase is based around just new guys. It really does defeat the purpose of, like, what a showcase is. That mode was built for nostalgia, and now they're not using it for that. They're having us play matches that just happened, that are, like, fresh on our brain, and they don't add anything, really. The only context they have is, like, to some arenas that were probably going to be in the game anyway, in some form. So that is what they need to go back to. And I don't care what the theme of the showcase is. We need to have the legends centered around a specific thing, so that we don't have, you know, people like Rick Martel just thrown in, or for a recent example, 20 had Molly Holly in it, and I love Molly Holly, and I'm even all for, like, I'm more lenient for there to be women's legends, because the women's roster, you know, could always be bigger. But, you know, she wasn't even in the story mode when, like, she easily could have been, just as a single match. There was even a certain place that was, like, an optional, you know, what title defense do you want to pick, that she could have served a role in just to justify her being in the game. But it didn't happen. And so that's my stance on what you should do with the legends. First, you need to revamp Showcase and make it about nostalgia again, and then decide what should be the theme for that year. And so that way you give context to everybody, and you trim off the fat, and you don't make every game feel the same like it has been for the past few years. So that's my stance on the more legends being included. In the next video, we'll go into number 9, which is unlocking Create a Superstar content. Don't know how much I have to say on that, but it is an interesting topic nonetheless. And like I mentioned, I'm going to tackle all 10 to start out the video, or to start out the series rather. So thank you for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed.